Hello, this is the demonstration for Group 18's project, the Bathing Activity Tracker or Checker. In this project, we have a publishing device, which is the Raspberry Pi, publishing data using MQTT through a broker to a client. In this case, my laptop is serving as the server. What this device is doing is it's using a microwave sensor to check for movement within a bathroom. And what the intent is to measure how much time someone is spending bathing. The sensor is a microwave sensor which is able to pass through, it sends a three-dimensional spherical signal, and it measures the change in frequency. If there's movement, there will be a change in frequency. If there's no movement, there will be no change in frequency. So what we're looking for is changes in movement. I have my Raspberry Pi code, or the device code, on the screen over here. How this code is working is we start by setting up the pin connections, we connect to the MQTT broker, and then we start looking at which status to be in. So we have two statuses depending on if someone is being detected as being in the bathroom or not. The first status, if there's no one in the bathroom, is the low power mode. So this sensor, it's a continuous sensor. It'll always be looking for a signal. So the idea with the low status mode is we'd want to try to limit power consumption especially if we're on battery. In this case, we're hardwired, so it's not that big of an issue. So looking at maybe we'll look at some of the functions that set up the MQTT connection, how we publish data, what we're publishing as, and how we're packaging that data. So in this case, we're looking at the unique device ID, when we're sending the data, when the bath started, when the bath ended, and then a calculation of that duration, a rounded calculation of that duration. And then we're packaging it as a JSON string and publishing it under a certain topic. In this case, SEP769 bath check. With a quality of service of 2, since we want to make sure that the message has been received. And then we'll put this to sleep. We also have a setup where we're setting up some of the pins. We have our sensor reading function called Doppler, where we are reading from a pin. Depending on what the value is, we'll pass a value to the LED function. If the value is 1, we will turn the LED on. So this sensor as well, it's a digital sensor. It's only outputting a high or low signal. And it has a trigger rate of 2 seconds. So if it triggers high, it'll stay high for 2 seconds. Next up, we have this status switch. So we have a global variable called bath status. If it's false, we're assuming that there's no one in the bathroom, so we can remain in low power mode, and we'll essentially go to sleep for some amount of time. In this case, 10 seconds. Well, after that 10 seconds, we'll wake up, check for some amount of time to see if there's anyone there. If not, we'll go back to sleep. We'll go back into this low power mode for 10 seconds and go back to sleep. If there is someone, that bath status will return as true, and we will then go into this bathing time function. So the bathing time function will essentially check for activity for 30 seconds. So for 30 seconds, we'll be measuring how many high signals there are every second, and our threshold is 2 signals. So within that 30-second period, we'll consider that someone's bathing if that sensor has gone high at least twice. And this is mainly due to combat some of the sensitivity issues that might arise with the use of this microwave sensor. We will only publish through MQTT once a bath is occurring and once the bath is complete. So we'll publish this data, and then essentially on the server side, we will have a script running that connects to a database. It connects to the MQTT broker, and it's listening for these published messages. Once it receives a message, we will write it to a database right away. So for example, we will have well, maybe the best example is maybe we'll run this and see how it goes. So we'll run this and see how it goes. So we're running, we're gonna do a setup, we're gonna connect to MQTT, and then we're gonna be checking for power signals. So whenever there's movement, our LED will go high, and essentially we're checking for movement. We're still in low power mode, but after 30 seconds, we should be in a bathing mode. So now our bathing mode has turned to true. We're now checking how long we're bathing for. So I will try to remain as still as possible for potentially a minute. So we didn't move for that last 30-second check. So the device said, okay, the bath had completed. We're now publishing this JSON string showing some data for device ID, start time, end time, etc. And that gets sent over to our server, where it then gets written to a database. Thanks.